Understanding your worth is the foundation of everything in life. It is the starting point for how you perceive yourself, how you interact with others, and how you navigate the opportunities and challenges that come your way. When you recognize your value, you establish a strong sense of identity, one that is not easily shaken by external circumstances or the opinions of others. Too many people go through life unaware of their worth, and as a result, they settle for less than they deserve, whether in relationships, careers, or personal achievements. This isn't just unfortunate, it's a tragedy, because every individual has inherent value, but it takes self-awareness to truly live it. To understand your worth is to acknowledge that you were created with a unique purpose. No one else can fulfill your role in this world. There's a specific combination of talents, abilities, and experiences that make you irreplaceable. Yet society often encourages comparison, which can make you doubt your uniqueness. When you compare yourself to others, you measure your worth against external standards, appearance, success, or popularity that are fleeting and superficial. True self-worth comes from knowing that you are enough, just as you are, regardless of external validation. When you embrace your worth, you stop seeking approval from others. You no longer feel the need to conform to someone else's expectations or bend yourself to fit into spaces where you don't belong. Begging for recognition or validation diminishes your power. It places your sense of self in the hands of others, leaving you vulnerable to their whims. But when you know your worth, you hold on to your dignity. You walk into every room with confidence, not arrogance, knowing that your presence adds value simply because you are there. This shift in perspective affects every area of your life. In relationships, knowing your worth prevents you from staying in unhealthy dynamics or settling for less than you deserve. You won't cling to people who don't respect or appreciate you because you understand that you are not defined by their acceptance. Instead, you seek mutual respect and genuine connection. And if someone walks away, you let them go. Losing someone who doesn't value you isn't a loss, it's a blessing in disguise, because it creates space for those who truly belong in your life. In your career, recognizing your worth empowers you to pursue opportunities that align with your abilities and passions. You won't stay in a job that undervalues you or tolerate being overlooked because you know you have more to offer. You begin to set boundaries, speak up for yourself, and demand fair treatment. This doesn't mean you become entitled or unrealistic. It means you no longer settle for mediocrity. You strive for excellence because you know you are capable of achieving it. Knowing your worth also changes how you respond to rejection. In life, you will face setbacks, closed doors, and moments of disappointment. But when you know your value, rejection doesn't crush you, it redirects you. You understand that a no doesn't diminish your worth, it simply means that opportunity wasn't meant for you. Instead of dwelling on what didn't work out, you refocus on what's ahead. This resilience comes from an unshakable belief in your own potential. It's important to note that understanding your worth is not about arrogance or superiority. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about recognizing that you are just as valuable as everyone else. This balanced perspective fosters humility and compassion because when you appreciate your own worth, you are better equipped to see and respect the worth of others. Living with a strong sense of self-worth doesn't mean you won't face challenges. There will still be moments of doubt and insecurity. But the difference is that these moments won't define you. You will have the tools to navigate them, reminding yourself of who you are and what you bring to the table. Knowing your worth becomes a guiding principle, one that influences every decision you make. The journey to understanding your worth often requires introspection and intentional effort. It may involve unlearning negative beliefs about yourself that have been ingrained over time, whether through criticism, failure, or rejection. It may require surrounding yourself with people who uplift and affirm you rather than tear you down. And most importantly, it requires a commitment to treating yourself with the same respect and kindness you would offer to someone you deeply care about. When you truly understand your worth, you no longer feel the need to beg, chase, or prove yourself. You realize that your value is not dependent on anyone else's perception of you. This clarity empowers you to take control of your life, to walk away from situations that don't honor your potential, and to pursue the path that is uniquely yours. Everything changes when you start from a place of self-worth. You begin to attract better relationships, greater opportunities, and a deeper sense of fulfillment because you are no longer living from a place of lack or fear. Instead, you are operating from a place of abundance, confidence, and purpose. Knowing your worth is not just the starting point, it is the foundation for a life of meaning and impact. There is a profound freedom that comes from letting go of the things that were never meant for you. Too often we exhaust ourselves chasing after people, opportunities, and situations that show little to no signs of being aligned with our purpose. It's an act of desperation, fueled by fear and insecurity, that keeps us stuck in cycles of frustration. But life isn't meant to be lived in a constant state of pursuit. True fulfillment comes when you learn to recognize what is truly meant for you and have the courage to release everything that isn't. Chasing is often born from the belief that what we want is scarce, that opportunities are few, and that if we don't hold on tightly, we will lose something valuable. This mindset keeps us running after things that resist us, clinging to relationships, careers, or dreams that don't reciprocate our effort. The truth is, what is meant for you will not require you to chase it. It will flow into your life in alignment with your purpose and timing. When you chase something, you're telling yourself and the universe that you don't believe you deserve to receive it naturally. Think about the energy it takes to chase. It's exhausting, draining, and often leaves you feeling inadequate. When you are constantly running after something, you rarely take a moment to pause and reflect. You're so focused on reaching what you think you need that you miss the signs pointing you toward what you actually deserve. The opportunities that align with your purpose don't require you to run yourself ragged. Instead, they inspire you to grow, to prepare, and to meet them halfway. In relationships, chasing often leads to heartache. You might find yourself holding on to someone who isn't investing in you, hoping that if you try hard enough, they'll change their mind. But love, respect, and connection are not things you can force. Genuine relationships are built on mutual effort, not one-sided pursuit. When you chase someone, you give them all the power while diminishing your own self-worth. If someone values you, they will meet you where you are. If they don't, no amount of chasing will change that. In your career and ambitions, chasing can look like forcing yourself into spaces where you don't belong or pursuing goals that don't truly resonate with you. You might push and push, only to find that the doors you're knocking on remain closed. This isn't failure, it's redirection. When a door doesn't open, it's often because there's a better one waiting just around the corner. But when you're busy chasing, you can't see the opportunities that are already available to you. Letting go of the chase doesn't mean giving up on your dreams or settling for less. It means trusting the process and believing that what is meant for you will find you when you're ready for it. This doesn't mean you sit idly by waiting for life to hand you everything you want. It means you focus on becoming the best version of yourself so that you can naturally attract the opportunities and relationships that align with your growth. When you stop chasing, you shift your energy. Instead of running after things, you start walking in your purpose. This shift allows you to approach life from a place of confidence and abundance rather than fear and lack. You begin to see that you are enough just as you are and that you don't need to prove your worth to anyone or force yourself into situations that aren't meant for you. Walking away from the chase requires courage. It's not easy to let go of something you've invested so much time and effort into, even when it's clear that it's not working. But holding on to something that isn't meant for you only delays your journey toward what is. When you release what isn't aligned with your purpose, you create space for the things that are. Imagine how different your life could be if you stopped chasing and started attracting. Attraction comes from alignment. It happens when you are living authentically, embracing your worth and trusting in the timing of your life. The right people, opportunities, and outcomes will naturally gravitate toward you when you are no longer chasing after what resists you. This doesn't mean there won't be effort involved. Effort is necessary for growth, but effort and chasing are not the same. Effort is purposeful, intentional, and grounded in self-awareness. Chasing, on the other hand, is frantic, desperate, and rooted in fear. By shifting from chasing to intentional effort, you position yourself to receive what is truly meant for you. Life becomes so much simpler when you stop chasing. You begin to trust that what is for you will not pass you by. You learn to recognize the difference between persistence and forcing, between effort and desperation. And most importantly, you begin to live with a sense of peace, knowing that you are enough and that everything meant for you is already on its way. Time is one of the most precious resources we have, yet so often we find ourselves wasting it waiting for things to change, for someone to notice us, or for circumstances to align perfectly. Waiting can feel safe. It feels like patience, like we're doing the right thing by staying in place. But there is a difference between patience and passivity. Patience is active, grounded in preparation and faith that the right moment will come. Passivity, on the other hand, is idle, stagnant, and often rooted in fear or indecision. Waiting for what isn't moving you forward is one of the easiest ways to lose time you will never get back. We often wait because we fear the unknown. The thought of taking action, stepping into uncertainty, or risking failure can feel overwhelming, so we convince ourselves that waiting is the better option. If I just wait a little longer, things will change. If I just hold on, they'll see my value if I wait. The opportunity will fall into place, but life doesn't reward those who wait for the perfect conditions. It rewards those who are willing to act despite them. Think about all the times you've waited for someone to change. Perhaps you've stayed in a relationship hoping the other person would suddenly realize your worth and start treating you better. Maybe you stayed in a job that doesn't fulfill you, waiting for the recognition or promotion you believe you deserve. Or perhaps you've waited to pursue a dream, telling yourself you'll start when the timing is right, when you have more money, more confidence, or more experience. The truth is, the perfect moment rarely arrives. More often than not, waiting becomes an excuse to avoid taking the necessary steps toward change. Life is not a spectator sport. The longer you wait for circumstances to align perfectly, the more opportunities you let pass you by. Doors don't open because you stand still in front of them. They open when you knock, when you push, when you try the handle and step boldly through. Time is always moving forward, and the longer you wait, the less of it you have to make the impact you were meant to make. Waiting also has a cost to your mental and emotional well-being. The longer you stay in a situation that doesn't serve you, the more you start to internalize the message that you're not capable of more. You begin to settle, convincing yourself that this is as good as it gets. But deep down, you know there's more for you. You know you're capable of greater things, but fear of leaving the familiar keeps you stuck in place. The fear of making the wrong decision can paralyze us into waiting indefinitely. We worry that if we act, we might fail or regret our choice. But the greater risk is not acting at all. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a stepping stone to it. Every action, even if it doesn't lead to the outcome you hoped for, teaches you something valuable. It moves you closer to clarity, to growth, and to the opportunities that align with your purpose. Waiting, on the other hand, teaches you nothing but regret. It's important to recognize that not all waiting is bad. There are moments in life when waiting is necessary, when timing truly does play a role. But even in those moments, waiting doesn't mean standing still. It means preparing yourself, sharpening your skills, and getting ready for the opportunity when it comes. There is a vast difference between waiting passively and waiting with intention. The former is rooted in inaction, while the latter is grounded in purpose. To stop wasting time waiting, you must first acknowledge what you're waiting for. Are you waiting for someone else to take the first step? Are you waiting for external circumstances to change? Or are you waiting because you're afraid of stepping into the unknown? Once you've identified what's holding you back, you can begin to take action. Action doesn't have to mean a grand, life-changing move. It can be small, deliberate steps in the direction you want to go. If you've been waiting to leave a job, start by updating your resume or networking with others in your field. If you've been waiting for a relationship to improve, take time to evaluate whether the other person is truly willing to grow with you. If you've been waiting to pursue a passion, start dedicating time each day to it, even if it's just 30 minutes. The key is to stop putting your life on hold for something that may never happen. When you take action, you reclaim your power. You shift from being a passive observer of your life to an active participant in it. You begin to realize that you don't have to wait for permission, for perfect conditions, or for someone else's approval to move forward. Time waits for no one, and every moment you spend waiting for something to change is a moment you could be using to create that change yourself. You have the power to make decisions, to take risks, and to step boldly into the life you want. Don't waste another second waiting. The time to act is now. Life is too short and too precious to waste on connections that don't reciprocate your energy, effort, or value. Holding on to unresponsive connections, be it in relationships, friendships, or professional settings, can drain your emotional and mental resources. These are connections where you're the one constantly reaching out, giving, and trying to keep things alive, while the other person remains distant, indifferent, or unavailable. Letting go of such connections isn't easy, but it is necessary for your well-being and growth. Unresponsive connections often create a sense of imbalance. You might find yourself overanalyzing every interaction, questioning your worth, or trying to figure out what you did wrong to cause their disinterest. This emotional labor is not only exhausting but also unnecessary. The reality is that people's lack of response or engagement often has little to do with you and more to do with their priorities, circumstances, or inability to value what you bring to the table. It's not your job to convince someone to care about you or to show up for you. When you hold on to connections that don't give back, you send a message to yourself that you're willing to accept less than you deserve. This compromises your self-worth over time. You might start lowering your standards, tolerating behavior that doesn't align with your values, or making excuses for the other person's lack of effort. But deep down, you know that healthy, fulfilling relationships don't require constant justification. They are built on mutual respect, effort, and reciprocity. Letting go of unresponsive connections doesn't mean you're giving up or being unkind. It means you're choosing yourself. It's a declaration that your energy and time are valuable, and you will no longer invest them in people or situations that don't appreciate them. This doesn't have to happen with anger or resentment. Instead, it can be an act of love for yourself and for the other person. You're giving them the freedom to be who they are, while giving yourself the freedom to move on. The fear of letting go often comes from a place of scarcity. You might think, what if I don't find anyone better? Or what if this is the best I can get? But these fears are rooted in a false belief that your happiness and fulfillment depend on someone else's presence in your life. The truth is, by letting go of unresponsive connections, you create space for better, more aligned relationships to enter. You allow room for people who truly value and support you to come into your life. Letting go can also feel difficult because of the time and energy you've already invested. It's natural to want to hold on, thinking, I've already put so much into this, I can't just walk away, but this is a trap. The more you cling to what isn't working, the more you delay your own growth and happiness. What matters is not how much you've invested, but whether the connection is still serving you in a meaningful way. If it's not, then holding on only prolongs the pain. It's important to recognize that letting go doesn't always mean cutting someone out of your life entirely. It can mean adjusting your expectations, setting boundaries, or redefining the nature of the relationship. For example, if a friendship has become one-sided, you might decide to stop initiating contact and see if the other person makes an effort. If they don't, you accept that the dynamic has shifted and move forward without bitterness. In some cases, letting go might mean having an honest conversation. Expressing your feelings can provide clarity and closure. However, it's crucial to approach these conversations without the expectation of a specific outcome. You can't control how the other person will respond, but you can control how you show up for yourself. Speak your truth and then let go of the need to persuade or convince. The process of letting go can be painful, especially if the connection held significant meaning for you. It's okay to grieve the loss of what you hoped the relationship could be. But as you move through that pain, remind yourself of the freedom you're gaining. You're no longer tied to the emotional weight of unreciprocated effort. You're reclaiming your energy and redirecting it toward people and pursuits that uplift you. As you let go of unresponsive connections, you'll notice a shift in your life. You'll feel lighter, more focused, and more at peace. The time and energy you once spent on trying to maintain these relationships can now be invested in yourself and in building meaningful connections with those who truly care. You'll start to attract relationships that are balanced, fulfilling, and aligned with your values. Ultimately, letting go of unresponsive connections is an act of self-respect. It's a recognition that you deserve to be surrounded by people who see your value and show up for you in the same way you show up for them. It's about choosing relationships that nourish you rather than drain you. And most importantly, it's about choosing yourself because you are worthy of the love, respect, and effort you so freely give. In life, the things that are truly meant for you will flow naturally when you align yourself with your purpose, values, and authenticity. Trying to force outcomes, whether in relationships, careers, or personal goals, can feel like pushing against a brick wall, exhausting you without yielding the results you desire. On the other hand, attraction is about alignment, not effort. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, the right people, opportunities, and experiences are drawn to you effortlessly. This shift from forcing to attracting is not just a change in strategy, it's a change in mindset, rooted in self-awareness and confidence. Forcing often stems from insecurity or fear, the fear that if you don't push hard enough, you'll miss out on what you want. It manifests as overexertion, overthinking, or trying to control outcomes that are beyond your reach. You may find yourself chasing people who don't reciprocate your interests, trying to fit into spaces where you don't belong, or clinging to opportunities that aren't aligned with your true calling. This constant striving creates tension and anxiety, leaving you feeling depleted and unfulfilled. Attraction, on the other hand, operates on a completely different principle. It's about understanding that you are enough just as you are. When you live authentically, embracing your strengths, acknowledging your flaws, and walking in your purpose, you create an energy that draws the right things toward you. Attraction is not passive, it requires intentionality. It means putting in the work to grow and develop yourself, but without the desperation or need to control every outcome. In relationships, forcing can look like trying to win someone's approval or affection, even when they've shown they're not fully invested. It's texting first every time, overanalyzing their responses, or bending over backward to meet their expectations. This dynamic is not only exhausting but also unbalanced. It places all the power in the other person's hands while diminishing your self-worth. When you switch to attraction, the focus shifts. Instead of trying to prove your value, you live in a way that naturally reflects it. You set boundaries, prioritize your needs, and allow relationships to develop organically. The right person will be drawn to your authenticity, not your effort to impress. In your career or personal ambitions, forcing might look like pursuing paths that don't resonate with you simply because they seem like the right thing to do. You might stay in a job that drains you, hoping to climb a ladder that doesn't truly excite you, or force yourself into projects that don't align with your skills or passions. When you attract instead of force, you focus on developing your strengths and pursuing what genuinely excites you. This doesn't mean you sit back and wait for opportunities to land in your lap. It means you prepare yourself for the right opportunities and trust that they will come when the timing is right. Attraction is deeply tied to authenticity. People and opportunities are drawn to authenticity because it's rare and magnetic. When you're true to yourself, you radiate confidence, clarity, and a sense of purpose that others can't help but notice. But when you try to force things, you often compromise your authenticity. You may pretend to be someone you're not, say what you think others want to hear, or pursue goals that don't truly align with your values. In doing so, you lose the very thing that makes you unique and compelling. Another key element of attraction is trusting in yourself, in your journey, and in the timing of your life. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or setbacks. It means you approach those challenges with faith that they're part of a larger process, guiding you towards something better. When you force things, you operate from a place of fear and lack, constantly trying to control what can't be controlled. But when you trust in attraction, you operate from a place of abundance, knowing that what's meant for you will not pass you by. Shifting from forcing to attracting also requires patience. Attraction doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to build the foundation, whether that's in personal growth, skill development, or establishing meaningful relationships. But this time is never wasted because it's an investment in yourself. As you grow and align with your purpose, the right things will come to you naturally, and you'll find they're far more fulfilling than anything you try to force. The beauty of attraction is that it not only brings the right things into your life, but also filters out the wrong ones. When you're living authentically, you naturally repel what isn't aligned with you. This saves you from wasting time and energy on people or opportunities that don't serve your growth. Ultimately, attracting rather than forcing is about embracing who you are and trusting that this is enough. It's about letting go of the need to control and instead focusing on what you can cultivate within yourself. When you live with this mindset, life becomes less of a struggle and more of a flow. You stop chasing what's not meant for you and start welcoming what is, knowing that you are worthy of every good thing that comes your way. Life unfolds in ways we often cannot predict or fully understand. At times, the journey may feel uncertain, the path unclear, and the obstacles overwhelming. In these moments, it's easy to doubt yourself, your decisions, and even your future. But there is a profound power in trusting your destiny, a belief that everything you experience, every success, and every challenge is shaping you for a purpose greater than what you can see right now. Trusting your destiny doesn't mean resigning yourself to a passive life. It means embracing the process, knowing that your path is uniquely yours and unfolding exactly as it should. Trusting your destiny begins with understanding that life is not random. Each event, whether joyful or painful, contributes to the person you are becoming. Challenges and setbacks are not signs of failure, but lessons designed to prepare you for what lies ahead. The key is to shift your perspective from why is this happening to me to what is this teaching me. When you approach life with this mindset, you begin to see how every piece of the puzzle fits together, even when you can't see the whole picture yet. One of the hardest aspects of trusting your destiny is letting go of control. As human beings, we crave certainty. We want to know what's coming next, how things will work out, and whether our efforts will lead to the outcomes we desire. But life doesn't always provide those guarantees. Trying to control every aspect of your journey can lead to frustration, anxiety, and even missed opportunities. Trusting your destiny means releasing the need for control and surrendering to the flow of life. It doesn't mean giving up on your goals or aspirations. It means allowing space for life to surprise you in ways you couldn't have planned. At the core of trusting your destiny is faith in yourself, in your abilities, and in the process of life. This faith doesn't require you to have all the answers. It simply asks you to take the next step, even when you're uncertain where it will lead. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration that you believe in your ability to navigate whatever comes your way. This faith builds resilience, helping you weather storms and stay grounded in the face of challenges. Trusting your destiny also involves listening to your intuition. Your inner voice is often the guide that knows the way, even when logic and external circumstances suggest otherwise. Intuition isn't about ignoring reason, it's about balancing logic with a deeper sense of knowing. When you learn to trust yourself and listen to that voice, you begin to make decisions that align with your true purpose. These decisions might not always make sense to others, but they will feel right to you. Another essential part of trusting your destiny is accepting that not everything will go according to plan. Life's detours and delays are often where the most profound growth occurs. Sometimes the very thing you think is a setback is actually a redirection towards something better. Trusting your destiny means believing that even when things don't go your way, they are still working in your favor. This mindset allows you to approach challenges with curiosity and openness rather than resistance and frustration. When you trust your destiny, you also stop comparing your journey to others. It's easy to look around and feel like you're falling behind or not achieving enough when you see others reaching milestones you haven't yet attained. But comparison is the thief of joy and the enemy of purpose. Your path is uniquely yours, and it will never look exactly like anyone else's. Trusting your destiny means honoring your timeline, celebrating your progress, and understanding that your journey is perfectly designed for you. This trust also extends to the relationships and connections that come into your life. Some people will walk with you for a lifetime, while others may only appear for a season. Trusting your destiny means appreciating these connections for what they are and letting go when it's time. The people meant to be in your life will stay, and those who leave are often making space for new growth and opportunities. As you trust your destiny, you'll begin to notice a shift. Life feels less like a struggle and more like a partnership. You stop fighting against the current and start moving with it, allowing yourself to be guided by the flow. You realize that the timing of your life is perfect, not always according to your plans, but always aligned with your growth and purpose. Ultimately, trusting your destiny is about believing that you are exactly where you're meant to be, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. It's about having the courage to keep going, the patience to wait when necessary, and the faith to embrace the unknown. When you trust your destiny, you step into a life of greater peace, purpose, and fulfillment, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should.